Hello, everybody. Welcome to this wonderful event that I'm going to tell you all. Basically, we have two zodiac signs here that I will show you in a minute, but these are two different elements. Okay, so one's water, one's earth sign. Both of them do connect, but they don't get along as necessarily because, in the way of how it goes, whether you have a caregiver and you have a disability, it's basically very different between these two, right? These two individuals, they do connect, but then they don't get along, right? It's basically how pathetic it is, right? Now, the truth is that it's very unrealistic about how your emotions are, how your feelings are, how the way you act, the way how you feel. Because when you are sensitive to a lot of emotions, okay, if you're feeling annoyed, if you're feeling pissed off, if you're feeling angry, agitated, whatever, and you're feeling sad or everything else, it's basically telling you that someone is actually not paying attention, not listening to you, not care about you, nothing. They only care about themselves. Okay? Now that's the truth. Okay, that's the truth. Now hear me out, okay? The point being is that when people don't get along, and they don't, it's unnecessarily the truth. Okay? Now, by that situation, there are two sides of a story here. It's called empathy, isn't it, right? There's two sides of a story here. One's good, one's bad, you know. So when things go a different way, you don't always, comprehend on how you're feeling. The way how you're acting, the way how you feel, the way how you negotiate. But when it's very chaotic, and how you're feeling, it's basically telling you that there's something that's annoying you. You know. Now, when you're into someone else's shoes, as in being a disability, and this individual who's not getting along, and the caregiver likes to ping ping and do things and telling them what to do, and it goes to every single individual out there. I have been there so many times. I've been there. I've been getting harassed. I've been getting tortured. I'm getting taken advantage of. Being vulnerable. All these emotions are just chaotic. Okay. Now a caregiver, you know, the way of how she is acting, she's always acting like, oh well, I can't do this anymore, or I've taken care of you, or no, all she wants is the moolah, isn't it? The money. She only gets paid because she's doing it for a wonderful job, you know. Now, getting paid by the government, and you get your whole entire way of how it is the way of how it goes, because in one way or another, everything will shift in one way or another. You have to get to the point where you get along to get along. Now, this is not a BS reading. It's not. But the point being is that this is the way of how it goes. This is the way of how it seems to be. Because you need to get with it. There is a way of how everything is between the two individuals. One has a disability and who's a caregiver who's taking care of you. Fine. But when they don't get along, they absolutely don't get along. And I understand that perfectly clear. Clear as so clear. Because what's the point? What's the point about talking to somebody who acts to be, you're going to be all center of attention. Oh, I don't want that. Now that's what a caregiver does. Where she wants to get all the center of attention, she's telling you what to do. She wants to be all demanding. She doesn't care about your feelings, your wants, your needs. No. She doesn't care about that. All she cares about is the money situation. All she cares about is, yes, she helps you, but what's the point? What's the point about having a caregiver who doesn't give you enough support, doesn't support you enough, doesn't give you any chances, any wants, any needs, whatever, right? This is the way of how it goes. This is the way it seems to be. Because what's the use? What's the use about talking to a caregiver and you ask something and then all of a sudden the caregiver will say to you, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I didn't mean to. Oh, that's invasive. That's intrusive. Oh." Yeah, she acts like whatever she acts. You know, this is just unkindly. This is unkind. And I can see it. I can see right through a caregiver's body language on how they're feeling, how the way their tone of voice, how they're acting, how they're negotiating, whatever it is. And basically, the point being is that the caregiver that I'm going to tell you all, she's a Virgo woman. A Virgo woman, it does not take any BS. She doesn't take that. But one way or another, why would she act like that and say, okay, well, this is not my fault. This is the way how it goes. I want to be that sensible person. I want to do exactly. What's the point? What's the point? So the point being is that in this reading, this is a Virgo woman. Okay, so she is a caregiver. She is a caregiver. Okay. Now, the disability man, who is a Scorpio man, doesn't want to take advantage of. Doesn't want to take being vulnerable, everything like that, and that's how it is. Now, a caregiver and a disability man, they don't get along. They do get along one way or another, fine, but they don't get along as usual. It's unusual, okay? And this is the way it goes. This is the way I'm going to add everything up to this whole entire story. And I will use the tarot, what's happening in both sides of the reading. And then I'm going to add everything up. Okay? So let's see what's going on. Okay? Because like I say, it does actually piss me off a little bit. And I can understand why. Because a caregiver should not act to be all mean and rude to a disability man like me, for example. It's basically BS. Because a caregiver has to act all kindly, all respected, have generosity, has some advice, has some, rules. Okay, that's fine. But a disability between a caregiver is a lot different, where a caregiver doesn't need about how that person's feeling. This is what's going on. This is not a BS reading. It's not. But let me tell you all about my experience about being a disabled and, having all these reasons of what's happening. A caregiver should have to know about this by now, because 100% tell you the truth, that a caregiver should be allowed to not torture, not to be, having taken advantage of, being vulnerable, whatever it is. A caregiver should have respect, and have obedience and stuff, right? But when the caregiver doesn't act like that, and she wants to be all the know-it-all, she wants to know everything. That's what a know-it-all is. She wants to know everything. And, she always says to me, I'm going to help you as much as you can. I'm going to help you. No, sweetheart. No, I'm not going to help you. I'm not. So this is the way it goes, right? Because a caregiver on one side of the picture acts all nice, okay? That because she's having those good days. When she acts all mean, rude, disrespectful, everything else, and her body language changes in a split second, and that's negativity. She will say something back to me, and then she will put it on me to blame. Okay? That's what a caregiver does. She won't admit it. She won't. But that's what it is. Right? This is not a BS reading. It's not. But if it was, how would you react? Right? So put the comments below. Give it a like if you want. But this is what it seems to be. Okay? So we're going to start off with a Virgo woman, shall we? Because this is what she is. Okay? And then we're going to start off with Scorpio after that. So this is what it seems to be. Sorry about me ranting about that, about my angerness. But I just want to tell you all what's happening. see if all my fans have disabilities or anything. So let's see. So let's start off. Let's see with this Virgo kind of caregiver situation. So basically, a Virgo woman, as she is, she's a working person. I can tell. Okay, she gets the money. She gets whatever she wants. She gets whatever. The Lover's reverse. She already has a decision. She already has a man in her life, and that's fine. And she does her own thing. She likes to, being taken care of and being respected by her husband and everything else. That's fine. But what's the use? What I'm getting at is what a Virgo woman does. The way that she acts is none of her business. So let me try to explain to you all what's happening in this situation. Let's see. So let's see what's going on here. So Six of Swords reversed, but there's Page of Wands reversed. So there's no movement. There's nothing here. But Six wants to celebrate because she wants to celebrate. Obviously, that's actually how it is. She was celebrating, and she thinks, okay, wait, I'm happy. She's being all sassy. That's what a Virgo woman is, because she acts like to be sassy. Now, what's also with this Lover's card? Three of Cups reversed, and the Five of Swords reversed. So which means she's not having any conflict with anybody. She's not having a third party situation. But then the Queen of Wands shows up because she acts like a lady, right? She acts like a lady because she does act like that, right? She thinks that everything is all crystal clear, everything's all fine, everything's all dandy. Everything is all about that. It's all about her. That's why the Virgo woman acts. As a caregiver, she acts to be all nice and sweet and whatever, and everything's fine. But, this is how it is. Okay? So this is what a Virgo woman is. And this is New Moon and Scorpio go deeper. So let's see what the Scorpio Man is doing. Who has a disability. So let's see. Ace of Swords reversed, followed by the Page of Pentacles reversed. So in this note, that Scorpio Man has basically the Ace of Swords reversed because he has a misunderstanding here. He does. But the way of how this is, the way of how everything is going to go, is not working out, It's the way of how this is. So let's see how it was. So the Four of Pentacles is right, is upright. The Eight of Cups is upright because he wants to be an entertainer, right? He wants to be the center of attention, He wants to do exactly what he wants to do because he wants to be all happy. He wants to do exactly what he wants. The Four of Pentacles is upright because he's He wants to think about money in that situation. You know, that's him, right? That's him as being like a disability. Now, what is the Page of Pentacles? Two of Swords reversed. 7 of Wands is upright because he's feeling like there is resilience. The two of Swords reversed means that he already has a plan to take. He already has that. You know, that's how it was. What's also with this Two of Swords here? Ace of Wands reversed, so there's no new beginning. But the 5 of Wands is upright because there's chaos here. Obviously, there is chaos for Scorpio Man because he said, okay, enough with this. I have enough with it. I don't know what to do. This is what it seems to be. You know, this is how conquested and stupid this is. Okay? Because when you look at this, you think, okay, everything's fine. But when you look at the Virgo woman, it doesn't make any sense. Right? It doesn't make any sense. So the way of how it looks and the way of how it is all jolted and everything else is not good. To recuperate, you know, and do things on your own. You know? So that's what a Scorpio Man is doing. Now I'll add everything up. Right? Because this is very interesting about what a Scorpio Man is doing, what a Virgo woman is doing. So this is what a Virgo woman is doing. Okay, so she's the caretaker, right? So the Lover's reversed because she already has a decision to make. She already has a lover. The 5 of Swords reversed because she has no conflict. Not right now. The 3 of Cups reversed because she's not in a third party situation. The Queen of Wands is upright because it does represent her. The 6 of Swords reversed because she has no movement. Page of Wands reversed. The 6 of Wands is upright because she wants to have celebration here. And the Queen of Pentacles reversed because she already is a working person. And that's all she's doing right now. This is her side. Okay? Now Scorpio Man, as in who has the disability, this is what he has. So the Page of Pentacles reversed. The 7 of Wands is upright because he has resilience. 2 of Swords reversed because he already has a path to take. Ace of Wands reversed. No new beginnings. Nothing. 5 of Wands is upright because there's chaos here. Yes, he has chaos. The 8 of Cups is upright because he wants to be an entertainer. The 4 of Pentacles is upright because he's thinking about money situation right now. And the Ace of Swords reversed because he has no understanding. Okay, so that's what a Scorpio Man is thinking. Now, in the way of how this is going to go, I'm going to clarify what's in the middle of the situation. It will tell me what's going on. A1 is upright because there's speed here. Yes, there is speed, right? Because that's how it is. Everything is going to go with the flow. Everything else, it could be another Leo, Aries, Sagittarius in this situation. So this is like almost like a back and forth situation. It basically comes and goes as it goes along. And you think that everything's all peaceful, everything's all fine. But then you think to yourself, no, it's not. So let's see what's going on. Because if you're having trouble to have a caregiver who acts, sometimes acts all nice to a Scorpio Man who has a disability, and the Virgo woman acts like she wants to be a know-it-all because she wants to know everything about it. The cards don't lie. So let me see. Let me see what's going on. So in the way of how a Virgo woman acts, this is how it is. Okay? So the Nine of Pentacles reverse, she doesn't have any comfort, right? She's uncomfortable. Ace of Swords reverse, so she has a misunderstanding. Scorpio Man has a misunderstanding. See? This is the way it goes. This is like a two-way street. Now what's also with this Ace of Swords here? The Seven of Pentacles is upright because there's vision here. She already has a career, but she already has vision. Right? She's knowing what's happening in that situation. What's happening with this Queen of Pentacles? The Ten of Cups reversed because there's or Two of Cups reversed, there's no relationship. No, there's no relationship. The Ten of Pentacles reversed, there's no wealth. The Six of Pentacles is upright because she wants to act like kindness. Yeah, right. She acts like to be all kindness. You know, whenever she acts all kindness, it's like, is it her fault? Is it her fault to pick on a Scorpio man who has a disability? I don't think so. I don't think so. Because the way of how this is a good reading so far. Okay? Now, what about this Eight of Wands? Let's see. Wheel of Fortune reverse, yeah, because you're having bad luck. You know, these two are having bad luck. You know? Ace of Wands reverse, there's no new beginnings. But Three of Pentacles upright, there's excitement. Yeah, see, Scorpio has excitement. Right? Because he knows that a Virgo woman, she's trying to act like she wants to be, you know, having kindness. She acts to have all these things. That's all she wants. You know? Now, a Scorpio man, let's see what's his side of the story here. King of Swords is upright because he has knowledge. Yeah, he does. Seven of Swords reverse, he has no deceit. The Queen of Cups is upright because there's empathy. See, I just said that. There are two sides of the story here. One makes sense, one doesn't make sense. What's opposite with this Ace of Swords? The Hangman reverse, there's no stillness. The Moon, no misrotations. Chariot reverse, no progress. Queen Wands is upright, there's charisma. Three Cups reverse, no celebration. King Cups is upright, there's support. That's what the Scorpio man is feeling. He wants support. She's feeling uncomfortable because she wants to act all kindness. Yeah, sure. But what's the use? What's the use about trying to have experiences? You know? So the way of how this is the way of how everything is going to be all good. Right? Because you think that everything's all peaceful. So let's see. Let's see what this Eight of Wands is. Aha, yeah, see the Knight of Pentacles reverse. So it means that someone's actually lying here. You know, and when someone lies, it's basically how they're not telling the truth, right? They're not, right? Because they think it's all about their problem. It's all about how it is. They don't think a lot. They don't care. They don't realize, and that's how it was. You know, so let's see what's opposite with that Knight of Pentacles here. High Priestess reversed, followed by the Seven of Wands is upright. Yeah, because there's resilience here. Yeah, right. Because when a caregiver and a disability man, they don't connect, right? They don't. Because, you know, the caregiver wants to help you, but then, you know, the Scorpio man is saying, forget this, I'm out. You know, she does the right thing, right? She wants to do exactly what she wants, but how can you like contemplate of how everything is, you know? Like you think it's how it is. let's see what's happening. So show me something that's going on with this Seven of Wands here. The Knight of Wands is upright because there's immaturity. Yeah. See, someone's not being immature. No. It's the way of how it looks, right? Because both players, both, how it is, they don't get along, right? They don't think that. The Emperor is upright because they have structure. The Knight of Swords is upright, there's drama here. Yeah, see, when you have immaturity, and when you have drama and everything else, this is what it goes. This is not a, what I'm saying is, this is not like a BS rating. It's not. Because the way of how this is, and it's going to end up, it's the way of how it goes. This is the way it happens because in one way or another, even if you are living with a caregiver, like a caretaker, and whoever who has a disability, right? There's something wrong with them. The way of how it goes is where the caregiver will take as much as it wants, and the caregiver has to have self-respect and have, lots of things. But the caregiver has to appreciate on how a disability man is. When a caregiver woman who acts to be all needy, all wanting, want everything, wants to be civilized and stuff, and say that, a caregiver always says to me, saying, you want to have a happy, healthy, safe home. That's what a caregiver says. I think to myself, saying, what's the use about having that? What's the use? Because whenever you have that, there's no happy in life. It's not. Every day we get to have a happy day. That's fine, but only one day. Because if you have a happy day and you only get one day, what's the use? What's the use about having this situation and think about everything is all, neat and tidy and everything else? It's pathetic. It's pathetic to get all this thing, This is the way of how it goes. This is the way about having common ground, have boundaries, have everything else. But what's the use? What's the use? Because there's no point. You have to do exactly what you're told to do. Be responsible. Be accountable for your actions. You have to do exactly what you're going to do to be responsible on how you're feeling, the way how you're acting, the way how you're, how you're going to conceive your own way. This has got to stop. Because when a married Virgo woman, and she does what she wants, and she's a caregiver for God's sake, and she's helping, and she does whatever her does, and she has challenges, what's the use about having all this chaos nonsense and saying that when you have a caregiver who acts like this and acts about having all this BS problems and all this stuff and saying it's not about me, it's all about you, and I'm just trying to help you, I'm trying to give you advice and everything else, and then you have a caregiver who says to me, saying that, why would you have to be the center of attention? Why do you have to do that? Why do you have to be like that? A caregiver has self-respect. Like, come on. When a caregiver acts like that and acts to be how insensitive and how very idealistic of how that person is feeling, what's the use? What's the use about talking to that person? And when a caregiver who acts like that, to be immature, doesn't have your self-respect, doesn't have your boundaries, doesn't have everything, your efforts, whatever, and they want the moolah as money, and they don't care that they have the money or not. They're only getting paid because they're only helping you. You know, they don't give you advice. They don't like. Yes, they would give you advice, but they don't give you advice all the time. They don't. They tell you what to do. They'll command you to do something. They do exactly what they're told to do. Now, I'm basically the way of how I'm going to say this. Truth, okay? Truth. When I have a disability, I guess get all angry, upset, annoyed. I have a little bit of autism. The point being is that when a caregiver doesn't actually know all about you and only know about some of you, what's the use about having a caregiver who acts to be like an innocent know-it-all, who wants to know everything, right? A caregiver should have self-respect, As a disability person, like me, for example, I get treated badly. I get treated, bad, everything else. I take advantage of, I take vulnerable, I take everything you can think of. It has to, gotta stop. It has to quit, because when a caregiver likes to push your buttons or, push your boundaries and say things like, oh, I'm trying to help you, or, oh, why you're going to be the center of attention, or, do something on your own, or do this, or do that. Then the caregiver acts to be all nice and saying, what are you doing tomorrow? Like, oh my god. Like, what's the use? Okay, what's the use? Okay. That's why when this reading does make sense, you have to pay attention to it. If you live with a disability and you're being a caregiver who helps a disability out, what's the use about having all these problems, having all these, conflicts and disagreements and misunderstandings and miscommunication and everything else, and the caregiver says to me, oh, well, if you want to communicate, let's communicate. No. When we don't communicate, we don't communicate. That's the end of story. This is not a way of a no goody two shoes. That's my expression. But you know what I mean, right? This is the way it goes, where you have to, bite the bullet or miss the target, whatever it is. This is the way it happens. This is the way it goes. Because what's the use? What's the use about having all this stuff and having all the drama, having all the chaos, having all the support, and the caregiver acts to be all kindness and, and she's being all uncomfortable. This is what a caregiver does to me. Okay? I live with a caregiver. Yeah, right. But when the caregiver acts and, acts to be all sassy or, whatever she wants to do, what's the use? What's the use about communicate and then say something saying, let's have a happy, healthy, safe home? Like, no. It's not going to be happy, safe home. It's not. Because when you're happy, you're going to get along. That's fine. But when you're not happy, you're not happy. That's how it is. That's what I'm saying to all of you who wants to support me. And I'm happy for you all to support me. But give it a like in the comments if this happens to you. Even if you have a caregiver who acts to be a Virgo woman and who treated like a Scorpio man like me as crap or whatever it is, it's not good. It's not good to be on your resume or your cover letter or whatever it is, because there's a big report on that. You know, you shouldn't be, taking advantage. You shouldn't be having vulnerable. You shouldn't be taking, having all these rules in place just because you want to be the better person. That's ignorant, And when a caregiver who acts like that, who wants to be not become an ignorant, no, but tries to help you as much as it needs, what's the use about talking to a caregiver who acts to be all kindness to you, but it's the complete opposite? Which means the caregiver would be being all mean, nasty, rude, disrespectful, having no priorities, having boundaries, whatever, not talking to you, not face to face, nothing. And they like to close off communication, that so be it. Because a disability person like me, for example, would easily try to get them back, where they will try to think of something and say, oh, it's not my fault, oh, I'm not going to mess up, no, I'm not going to. That's what a caregiver will do, where they will keep nitpicking at you and then telling you what to do. They will act to be all nice and yeah, sure, but then it will switch, where they'll be all nasty and mean, and there'll be a word called, well, the word called would be narcissist, antagonist. You know what antagonist is? Okay, when you watch a movie, it's a good one, a good guy, and then all of a sudden you have a bad guy. Well, that's what a caregiver does, where she always acts to be a good person, but then she will act like she's going to be all mean and rude. That's what I'm looking for. I'm being a protagonist. I'm protecting, my emotions, my feelings, my, how it is. I'm absorbing on how a caretaker takes care of me. It's complete BS, because the way of how a caregiver acts, and she acts to be all kindness and everything else, it doesn't add up my adaptation. It doesn't add up that. No. Because what's the use? What's the use about having, what's going on, and then you think to yourself, oh, well, it's not my fault, it's not my fault, it's not my fault. A caregiver will say that and say, it's not my fault, it's yours. She won't take the blame, because all she wants to get paid by the government, because she's helping you. Yeah, right. She's helping me. Like, the way of how a caregiver acts, it's complete BS. Complete. Because the way of how it is, it's the way of how I'm going to word it out to you. When you have a protagonist versus antagonist, they are complete opposites. They're pros and cons. A caregiver will act to be a pro, but then she going to be like a con, which means that she won't even try to help you anymore. Because once I get older, the caregiver will get older, right? The caregiver will get older and older until she realizes she has problems. She won't take care of you anymore. She won't help you to do things anymore. She won't do all that. And that's what I'm going to face it to all of you, because if you've been there, done that, whatever, and you live with a caregiver and you have a disability, it will affect your emotions, your feelings, everything else. if you don't have a disability and you don't live with a caregiver and you live on your own, it's quite different. So what I mean is, you have to pay attention where I'm coming from, okay? Because all of you should have respect and generosity and being genuine and see how I feel, how I act. Because once you live with a caregiver, yes, they feel on how they feel, but whenever you see something that's not right and is unusual, something's funny about a caregiver who acts to be all different. So I can see it. I can see that. So I'll read you the enchanted map. And this is going to be how it is, because this is a very interesting reading, isn't it? So this happens between a Virgo woman who is a caretaker and a Scorpio man who has a disability. So because a caregiver who acts to be a know-it-all wants to know everything. Yeah, it's the way of how it is. Because I'm not BSing or anything like that. I'm just telling you what's happening on my end, because it's not good. So let me read this, and let me see. Listening. Number 53. This is very good about listening. Let me read you about a number that is 53. This is an upright position. Okay, so it says about this. 53 is listening. Is an open heart will hear the message. So this is it. Upright. When this card appears, you're being reminded that there is a time to speak and a time to be silent. Now is an occasion for listening. Pay attention not only to what is being spoken, but also to what is not being said at the moment. For the deeper message is not always obvious. Listen with your heart, not just your ears, and you will find clarity. Receiving the listening card is a fortune sign, and there is a greater understanding of your circumstances. So, which means that both players, as in a Virgo woman and a Scorpio man who has a disability, they will have to listen to each other. Because when you listen to each other, you have to get the hang of it, get to listen. But when a caregiver who doesn't listen, and she wants to be the bigger person, and she wants to do whatever she wants to do, it's basically her fault, not mine, because the way of how she's feeling, and she wants to be all supportive, and she wants to be all that, it doesn't make any sense. No, because she has to pay attention, and if she has to get paid by the government, and she does the helping skills and everything else, and she wants to take care of you, that's fine. But she can't always take care of me for the rest of her life. She can't. Because, like I said before, and I'll say it again, is that a caregiver will only take care of you as much as you need to. But then when a caregiver just, acts to becoming old and getting older and getting older and getting older and having problems and having, whatever it is, it doesn't add up right. It doesn't, So you have to pay attention to understand what I'm going through, This is the way of how it goes. This is the way of how it seems to be. This is not like an uptight situation. It's not. So you have to pay attention, whether if you live with a caregiver or not, and you live, in the way of how it goes, you have to get along with it, right? You have to pay attention about what's going around you, what's your surroundings, and who says who, whatever. But you have to pay attention, because what's the use? What's the use about saying, all right, well, this is the way it goes, this is the way it happens, this is how it is? You have to pay attention, and the caregiver should have to realize about what's going on, and I have been there so many times, right? Because I've been being tortured, I've been taken advantage of, I'm taking vulnerabilities, everything else you can think of is basically bad, very bad, because when I get the negative from people, if it's between family members, if it's from friends, if it's from strangers, whatever else, they will treat me like crap. They will, and I have been there so many times, right? I've been there, right? A caregiver will be all acting all nice and nice and nice and nice and nice, and they will help you, and being generosity and yeah, blah blah blah. But the point being is that a caregiver should realize what was happening, because a caregiver will say to me, for example, saying, it's not about you, it's about me, A caregiver should realize about that, So the point being is that before I let you all go, pay attention about what's happening around you. Pay attention what's going on. Pay attention about how it is. Because if this happens to you, and you get taken advantage of, taking vulnerabilities, if you're getting tortured or whatever else, and a caregiver wants to take action and be whoever she wants to be, what's the use about talking to a caregiver who will treat you badly, will treat you like crap and say, okay, well, you're the wall and I'll leave you there. That's what a caregiver would be, right? Because they won't appreciate, they won't have your support. They won't. They will think it's all about their fault. It is their fault, because they won't treat as you become a better person. They'll think it's all about what's happening and everything else, and your life, your way, whatever it is, right? It's the way of how it goes, and this is how it is. So I'm sorry to get myself to be all angry and upset, but the point being is that this is how it is, right? And if you get tormented, and if you get all this, it's bad enough, right? And this is how it is. So I hope you like this reading. I hope you pay attention to it, and this is the way it goes, because this is what it seems to be, and you have to do exactly what it is. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.